across the universe.
Across the
So here's something, as we're like warming up here and waiting for everybody to join in. Do you think it is wise to put data on human beings and where we are located on these space things that we're sending out? Because to me, it just sounds like if there's a civilization out there that's advanced enough to grab it and read it and understand it, we're just basically asking to get slaughtered.
I know. It's kind of a risk.
It's like, until we can go out and find the other people, why don't we just not tell anybody we're here?
That kind of does make sense, because you don't know what other cultures or whatever it'd be like.
Anyway, all right, so we're live. So we're live now and talking about random.
We're talking about random stuff. What's up, everybody? My name is Indy, and this gentleman sitting next to me here, that's Mr. J. Powell, and welcome to Indie Game Business, episode number, I don't even.
I was trying to keep count, but I don't know either. I even gave up on the podcast because every time I would go and do that whole, hey, this is, episode, whatever, I had to go look at the last episode we posted. And so I finally just said to hell with it. And I stopped posting them, basically. So yeah, this is your obligatory getting ready for Gamescom, PAX West, Game Daily Connect, which aren't, I thought that last week, I think I said they were all the same week, which was completely asinine. But now it looks like they are spread across 2 weeks, which
right. Game Daily Connect. Game Daily Connect ends the day that PAX starts. I'm actually going to be there, and I'm flying back from PAX, staying the night at home, and then going up there. Which I probably could have just went to PAX, because my flight actually goes from there up to Seattle and then back down here. So what I'm doing is I'm flying up to Seattle and then coming back home to stay the night with my beautiful wife, and then I'm going to ride my motorcycle up to Seattle. So instead of me just going there, I'm going to ride up there all day. Because why not?
No, I'll bet it's gorgeous.
Yeah. It'll be a nice ride.
Are you going to have somebody with you in case the bike breaks down or something?
No. I've got a cell phone.
Okay, folks. There you go. If you're going to PAX and you see Indy on the side of the road, please pick him up.
Yeah. Or at least stop. If you're on I-5 driving north to PAX, yeah.
At least stop and wave, as you're
honk
going.
at me. Honk a little song. Hey, Shrimp Mania, Chocolate Rain, what's up? Welcome.
Oh, I need to open up our multi-chat. Completely forgot to do that. So yeah, I mean, we talked about this. We did a show on this like over a year ago. It was like one of our very, very first shows, but it was time to do it again and update it and, send it postal to everybody. So I wanted to, we got these shows coming up. Let's hit it. So, one of the things that we talked about last week is understanding which show you need to go to. And that's the first part of it. But hopefully, since it's, we're doing this stuff in next week and the week after, you've already figured that out. But for those of you who haven't, let's hit it real quick. PAX has got a small amount of business meetings. They don't have a formal business meeting system yet. It's still mainly for consumers. So if you want to get out there and show it to fans, get feedback on it, if you're a publisher, any type of straight to consumer work that you're looking to get traction on with your game, that's good for PAX. Game Daily Connect, which used to be Casual Connect, that is very much more a business show. It's a good business show to go to simply because it's not the size of GDC. It's much smaller. You can get around and talk to people. You'll get a little more FaceTime with publishers if that's what you're looking for, or developer, whoever you're looking for. You get a little more FaceTime because it's not as overcrowded, and you're going to have a better chance of running into and having those impromptu meetings with the decision makers, because again, it's not GDC, it's not completely crowded. And then there's Gamescom, and Gamescom is one of the two shows that I recommend you going to if you only go to two shows a year. If you only go to two shows a year, you need to be at GDC and at Gamescom. If you're only going to be at one show a year, pick the one you're closest to and go from there. But those are the big shows that everyone is at. And so that's why, I don't know how, honestly, I don't know. Andy, maybe you can figure it out when you get up to Game Daily Connect. I don't know how many European companies are going to be, at Game Daily Connect.
A lot. There's always a lot at Casual
Connect.
Connect.
A lot with, the fact that Gamescom is going on nearly simultaneously?
Yeah, that'll be weird because it's going on pretty much, well, it's a week later.
I know. So, big companies that have the resources to send someone to both or have offices in North America and in Europe, it's not going to be a problem. They'll be there.
I feel like Game Daily Connect is more like indie developers, and then there's a lot of speakers, but there's also a lot of like mobile app, advertising platforms. They usually have booths and stuff too.
There are a lot of service providers that go there, and I know that's something they want to get balanced out. This is weird. I'm seeing chat here, but I'm seeing chat in chat, but not chat in our little chat thing. So don't know why that's not working yet. Anyway, the point being, if you're in Europe and you can only go to one, I would recommend Gamescom. It's huge. It's where everybody's going to be. That's very much a business show. Game Daily Connect is very much a business show as well. And Indy, you do have a little. Chocolate Rain just mentioned you have a little bit of reverb on.
A little bit of reverb there. Okay.
Now
Is that better?
I thought I heard it too, but I wasn't real sure if it was just me and I had.
No, it was me. It was totally me.
On. All right, so you've got your show picked, which hopefully you did like a couple of months ago. We're coming up on the week before, 2 weeks before some of these shows. You want to be reaching out to publishers within, I would say start 3 weeks out. That 3 weeks out is where you're going to get about 50-50. Yes, I've got meeting availability, and no, I haven't even started looking at it yet. Most people start scheduling their meetings 2 weeks out, 1 week out. But the big companies that have a lot of, people wanting to meet with them are going to start filling up their schedule. Almost a month out sometimes. So I always like that 3 weeks from the show is a good time to get in there and do it. If there is an option to use a business meeting service like Meet to Match has a thing for Gamescom. I noticed Game Daily is using something called Pine now, and I'm not familiar with it. I know it's a new player on the biz meeting matchup scene. I highly recommend spending the extra money to use one of those versus using like the GDC one or the E3 one or the Gamescom one. I haven't used the Gamescom one in a couple of years, but those meeting services tend to be less specific and harder to navigate. Whereas if you go with something like a Meet to Match, it's very much geared to our industry. It's easier to get through, and it's quicker to find the people that you actually need to talk to versus, just a bunch of random people that are in there. The worst system I see every single year is GDC's meeting system, and it's a train wreck, and I don't know why they don't do something about it and fix it and make it easier, but they don't. So I would highly recommend getting involved in paying the extra, I don't know, $100 or whatever it may be to get access to those meeting systems, because it does make your life a lot easier. Most of them, and I know Meet to Match does, because we partner with them, full disclosure, but two, I've used their system for years and years and years. They have a centralized area where you can go and meet, and so you don't have to be running across the show and trying to find. And Gamescom is, if you've never been, it's fucking huge. It's like you take E3 or GDC and you multiply it times 5 or 6. It's massive. It's ridiculous. You don't typically have to go. Gamescom has the business side, and then they have a consumer side. And you don't have to go to the consumer side usually. It is better if you don't, because it is madness. It's good to go and especially if you're used to the business side of the industry and you don't get to go to things like PAX as much like I do. It's interesting to go watch and to see it and to like stand a safe distance away, because people are so passionate. That's where you get to see the games. They're all cosplayed out and body to body and craziness, and yeah, it's general madness. And you don't want to have to find business meetings in there, but sometimes you have to. But even with the business side of Gamescom being completely separated, it's still like 4 or 6 it's like 2 or 3 buildings. Each building has 2 floors, and it's massive. It's huge. So if you are a member of one of these meeting services accounts, they typically have a general place you can go, and so that way you don't have to spend 10 minutes of your 30-minute meeting trying to find where you're supposed to be for your next meeting. And then you go through those and you find the meetings that you want. Now, stop me if you have any questions along the way, but this is understanding why you need to be at that show is always the first step, because if you don't know for yourself why you need to be there, it's going to be hard to find the appropriate meetings. And people aren't going to just up and accept a meeting from you if you're not looking to do exactly what they need. And so that's why those meeting things are too. It's one thing to go and say, oh, okay, I want to go meet with THQ. THQ may not want to meet with you. You have to be able to understand what they're looking for, to make it a relevant meeting. So that's where the research side of it comes in. And most of these meeting services are going to have a section that says, THQ is looking for this, and this company's looking for that. So that should be, your next step. Going through and triaging your meetings, understanding, okay, here are the people that I absolutely possibly need to meet with, and here are the people that I can meet with should I need to. That's just a matter. It's going to vary from company to company. It's going to depend on what you're looking for, what they're looking for, all of that kind of good stuff. And so, stop me if I'm getting ahead of myself or anything else, Andy.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So once you've got that target list, and I usually do it into 3 tiers. Here are the companies that I absolutely positively have to meet with. Here are the companies that I would like to meet with, and here are the companies that, if I have time, I want to meet with. Keep that list on you in some way, shape, or form, because you don't know if you're going to be at, a bar, you're walking around randomly, standing somewhere, and run into one of those companies that you didn't have a meeting with. And it's a good reminder to, okay, I should at least introduce myself, get a business card. Which brings us to business cards, which
you
are
should
still
do that
very
anyways.
relevant.
I mean,
yes,
you should do that. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be a press member. It could be a publisher person. It could be just a random person. You never know. It could be like your next biggest fan of your game that will help you out in so many ways that you don't even realize you needed help before.
And this is a very small industry. I mean, and I saw it yesterday on LinkedIn. People that you meet are going to move up the food chain. There was a woman that I met at Casual Connect Berlin 3 years ago. She's a recruiter, and we were just both walking from the hotel to the show, chit-chatting, exchanged cards, hooked up on LinkedIn. So whatever, you send a connection. Yesterday, I saw that she's promoted to head of recruiting for one of the major app companies. And so it's one of those things that people that get into the industry are either going to burn out in 2 or 3 years, or they're going to be in it for the long haul, and they're going to move up the food chain. And so being nice, introducing yourself, networking, it's always pays off in the end. It never hurts to know too many people, basically. So have your business cards, accept business cards. We can go into that on the post conference show, but always have that little triage list, in your back pocket, somewhere handy. If I have downtime, if I'm on a train headed in or in a cab or whatever, and you have a map of the conference handy, highlight, circle the booths of some of these places that you want to meet. And that way, when you're going from meeting to meeting, you can stop by. Most of these booths at shows have a table out front where it's, they've got business cards from various people that are going to be there from the company. So even if you can't meet with them, it's worth stopping by, introducing yourself for 2 seconds, taking a business card and leaving a business card. That's how you grow your network. That's how we have a list of, 500, 600 publishers and 4,000 some developers, just because we've been doing this, like that for 20 years now. But, knowing where everyone is key, because shows go sideways. It's just, no matter how well you network and how well you schedule your meetings, when it comes time to actually go to the show, shit's going to get rescheduled and everybody's schedule is going to go straight to hell. And it's just a matter of, how quick can you adapt and move around. Having all this stuff planned out with your first tier, second tier, third tier people, meeting is definitely beneficial in the end. And so, yeah, Indy, if you thought my attention span was hard when we had one set of chat coming in, now it's like all over the damn place.
Oh, it's all good. And also with business cards, what do you do with them at the end of the conference, Jay?
Yours are on your desk. Mine are in my card catalog over there under business cards for trade shows.
Oh, I put all mine into a document. I
do too. I'm talking about the actual physical ones afterwards.
The physical ones.
That's the
physical ones afterwards. For me, I put them into a Google Doc, so there's no point in keeping them, but I end up keeping them anyways. And then I look at them in 2 years and go like, why do I have these? And then throw them away. Why is this taking up room in my shit here? And then I just throw it away.
I do too, but it's just habit from years ago. There's not an easy way. I know that
these are from the last PAX I went to, and they're just sitting right here, and they're all like sorted out and everything. I really don't need them.
Like Evernote used to have a way to take a picture of the business card and it would add it to something like a spreadsheet or something.
Oh yeah,
like
they have that. They have that where you just take.
Well, I stopped using Evernote when they had their security thing, and I was like, you know what? Don't need this anymore. Now I basically have gone back to what I used to do. Is when I get to typically the airport, because I'm that guy when I travel, I want to be at the airport like 4 hours in advance because I'm paranoid that I'm going to miss flights and all of that kind of good stuff. So I'll sit down at the gate, open up my laptop, and just basically start putting business cards into our CRM and scheduling a reminder for me when I get home to, reach out and follow up with everybody. So you've got to convert those and you've got to have a way to follow up with all those people. And that's, while you're at the show, when you get that random business card, for the love of God, like not right in front of them because it's considered extremely rude with some Asian companies, but on the back, write a note. It's like, met them at a party, saw them waiting for such and such a meeting. So you remember, because I've been doing this 20 years. I still get home and I look and there's a business card and I'm like, where the hell did I get that? I don't remember because I didn't write it down. But put a little note on the card that says, this is who this was, where I met them, to jog your memory on, oh, okay, there might be an opportunity or there might not. But, you should absolutely follow up with everybody regardless of if there's a honest to God meeting to be done or whatever. All right, Andy, take it real quick. Hold on a second.
Okay, so one thing, like what Jay was talking about, in some cultures, how you were supposed to, especially in Asian cultures, when they give you a business card, there's certain things you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take it with both. Yeah, protocol, etiquette. it's rude to them if you don't do this. You grab it with both hands, right? And I'm being serious, you guys. Like in American culture, it's like you talk to somebody and then you give them your business card. You know, a lot of people are like, I only give my business card to people that blah 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 or whatever. But in Asian culture, they give you their business card first. You take it with both hands, you read it, you look at it, and you read it totally. And then you flip it over, and then you read it. You like look at it and read it, right? And then you take that card, right? It's rude to someone hand you their business card and you just go thank you and stick it in your pocket without even looking at it. And you know what, I've noticed that after I learned that thing, that actually kind of bugs me now when I meet somebody and I give them my business card and they just stick it in their pocket. That actually kind of irritates me a little bit. It kind of rubs me the wrong way. So I do that anyways. I will take the card and I will look at it and read it with both hands. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to hold it with one hand. You're supposed to hold it with both hands. So, yeah.
By the corners.
By the corners, yeah. Because when someone gives you, they give you their business card, it's like it's part of themselves they're giving. Or I'm not sure the actual, reasons for the etiquette or whatever. I just and you will start now that I've told you that whenever you go to a conference, you will notice people doing that. You will notice that is what Asians will do.
And it's always better to err on the side of cautions, because once you start, into that habit for those cultures, then you'll start doing it for all of them, and it's fine. You can't be like too polite to somebody. It's
right.
You're not going to offend them by
looking at their business card and reading it.
Exactly.
I mean,
So the other thing to keep in mind is when I'm talking about having a version of the map, for example, or I always have a printout of my schedule. Keep in mind, you're going to a conference that's chock full of technology-loving individuals. I don't care how good their Wi-Fi is or the cell tower is sitting in the middle of the show floor, you're gonna have connection issues. And so if you've counted on always having access to your schedule or to your map, because it's in your Google Calendar or you've got a PDF saved on your phone or laptop, that may or may not work, just simply based on how many people are on that Wi-Fi. So I always keep a hard copy of hold on a second.
Right. So look for the spots. Look for the spots at the events where people are like off somewhere in the corner on their phones. You look for those spots because those are that's where the best Wi-Fi is. Or ask somebody where's the best Wi-Fi, because you'd be surprised. I mean, it could be somewhere that is completely around the corner that you don't see, by some random bathroom that you didn't know was there. And so you could be walking around the whole convention the whole time and not have a signal, and it's really just 30 feet away. You know what I mean?
The same goes true for power outlets.
Yeah. And make sure and bring a pack of those stickers that look like power outlets and just stick them everywhere.
Oh, that's messed up.
I know.
I've never seen that, but that's completely messed up.
No, I actually have these right here, right? I have this one is a big one, the battery pack, right? I can actually plug 2 phones in. This is a cool one because it actually plugs right into the wall. But I have this one, and then I have some smaller ones, and then I've got another big one. I carry 4 of these, so I will never ever run out of power. And then if I'm talking to someone, they're like, "Oh, I need power for my phone." Bam! You can just plug it in there. Hey, Real McCoy, thank you. What's up,
Thanks
man?
for the host.
Are you going to be at PAX, dude, this year? Am I going to see you at PAX? Probably.
So yeah, I mean. The other thing, just as one of those kindness things, is I carry my power adapter or my power. I carry a little surge protector that you can just plug straight in. That way, if you are using using the power outlet, there's still some for other people. You're not being like a power outlet.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I never thought of that.
It's just
a power strip.
Cool little things. Yeah, and it's small and it fits into it just plugs straight into the cord. It's really handy. It's really nice. I like it.
Is it like a regular power strip or a micro power strip? I'm gonna Google one now.
I may have it. Hold on a second. Let me look.
I'm gonna Google it now. Micro power strip. Rock hands. Oh man, power strip is what is rock hands?
No, I don't have it down here in my office. I was looking, but yeah, it plugs straight into the wall, and it's got like three. It has
there's one that's a
three
cube.
power outlets and 2 USB ports.
Yeah, there's one right here. It's called the Cube Cruise Power Strip. 3 outlets and 3 USB ports.
Yep.
Desktop charging station with a 5-foot extension cord. Oh, it's not even $20.
No, it's not. Now the one that I actually have 2 of them. The first one I got from that company, it's got a little button on it so you can rotate the plug. That way, no matter like how the outlet is aligned, if it's up against a wall or a corner or something, you can actually swivel the way the rest of the plugins fit. And the first time I did it, it just stopped working completely. But I sent it back. They sent me a new one, and I've had 2 for like 3 or 4 years that never.
I'm going to actually post a link to the one I just found. I'm going to order it. I want to order it right now. You know, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, that's not the one that I have. But I know, but it's that same similar. Exactly. It's that sort of thing.
$18, but I can get a 2-pack for freaking $20.
Yes, get the 2-pack.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling through the bottom to see if I see the one that I have. I don't see it though. They probably stopped making it because it's like a giant fire hazard. For some reason, I should stop using it too. But no, anyway, those things are always, keeping it. They're good to keep on you because you never know when you're going to need them.
Monday, August 19th. Okay. Oh, unless a company needs help with the brand help, they're covering. Oh, brand ambassador. Right. No, I got you.
All right, so you've got your meetings planned out. You've gone on whatever meeting service that you're using, or you've done it old school and like actually email people. You've got your schedule. You know who your secondary, your backup meetings are going to be. Always make sure, and I do it the day before the show starts, you email every one of your contacts or every one of your meetings and say, hey,
I'll see you there.
Just a reminder, we have a meeting scheduled for whatever time, whatever location, because that's when you're going to find out your schedule has already gone to shit and you didn't know it. It never fails. You do that, and a percentage of the people will come back and go, oh my God, I completely forgot about it, and I have a conflict here. And so you can reschedule then, or you make plans to catch up afterwards or whatever. But it saves you from being at the meeting or the meeting location and just standing there for 20 minutes when you could be doing something, otherwise, more productive.
Charging your phone.
Yeah, and going, where's my damn meeting? Because your meeting schedule is going to go to shit like the minute you get there. It happens every show. Doesn't fail.
Oh, if you're going to your meeting, and how long do you like your meetings are what, 20 to 30 minutes, something like that? How long?
You have a 30-minute slot, but you can't talk for 30 minutes.
How long do you wait? Like if you get there and you're on time, and how long do you wait before you take off and do something
10 minutes. If you're not at the meeting within 10 minutes of when we were supposed to have the meeting, and you haven't texted me, you haven't called me, you haven't shot
the only problem with that is
that
the Wi-Fi is shit. You know what I mean? But
I know, but I mean, you need to do, and it goes the same way. If you're going to be late, do someone the common decency of saying, hey, I'm running late.
Yeah.
And so in that email that you send out the day before the show starts, put your phone number in there and ask for theirs, because, even if something goes sideways and you're not going to be able to meet, if you can get a hold of somebody by text, chances are you can reschedule it, or at least, have a thing that says, hey, look, I'm going to have 5 minutes in between meetings over here in this area. Let's just, meet real quick, introduce ourselves, shake hands, exchange business cards, and we'll catch up after the show. That's just the way that everything goes. And you have to be, trade shows, successful conferences are all about being flexible. There is a lot of pre-planning that goes into it, but when you hit the show floor, you have to be, ready for anything, basically. So parties, events, goings on, check Eventbrite, check Reddit, check Twitter and Facebook. Just I'm not on Facebook a lot that much anymore, so I forget about it every now and then. But all of those social platforms will have a whole list of things that are going on that you can put on your backup schedule or your evening schedule, or or things like that. So let me Google real quick. Parties at Gamescom.
There's a lot of different ones. Are you the type of person that like will RSVP to multiple parties that are at the same time, and then at the time pick which one you want to go to?
Yeah.
You don't think that Absolutely. That takes up a slot for somebody else, or
if they are sending out, if it's something that there's a private RSVP to, then no, I won't do it unless I'm pretty confident I'm going to go. But a lot of these shows, a lot of these events are wide open to everybody,
right?
And so, yeah.
And I guess if it's a private one, that's like the important one that you would go to anyway.
Yeah, it is. The ones I avoid are the public ones. I don't, because the more people that are there, the more it's just going to be completely worthless for meetings anyway.
Right.
Because it's going to be loud. It's going to be, people are going to be drunk. You're not going to.
It's more of it's less networking, more of a go out and socialize kind of thing.
Yeah, and you have to be careful. One, you have to be careful anytime you're like in a foreign city and you get drunk and you don't know how to get home. But the other side of it, it's these shows are, I've seen too many like drunk CEOs groping people. You just, there's no reason to get drunk
right
at a game convention. There's none. You have 3 days, be professional for 3 days, and then you can just go home and throw back the airplane bottles on the flight, wherever you're headed.
You can get drunk on the flight home.
At that point, you're the airline's problem. Nobody else. But
what? I actually, just to go way off the rails here, I actually was on a flight one time. It was from, I believe it was from LA to where I live, it was just like a one trip thing. And it was it was the weekend, right? And it was after a convention. And there's a lot of people that live where I live that weekly fly to LA for their jobs, and then they fly back. But this whole plane, the whole front 10 rows, everybody knew each other because they're always on the same flights to work and on the same flights back. And man, everyone's standing up, talking to people, yelling. The drinks were flying. People were buying me drinks. Man, it was the best flight ever.
That's the way the flight to GDC used to be from Raleigh to San Jose when GDC was in San Jose.
Everyone's just talking and yeah. Hey, what's up, Chris?
And Epic and back in the day, the Gamebryo and that engine, all of us were on the same flight. And so it was that's exactly what it was like, because we all knew. Now, the downside of it is, like I've said in the past, if that flight had gone down, North Carolina's complete game development ecosystem
would have crashed,
was shot. It was like that. There's no coming back from it. Everybody that was, a decision maker was on that one plane. But when you're at a conference, you have to maintain decorum, and you can't do that if you're going out and getting shit-faced hammered at night, staying out till 4 a.m. The flip side of that is you may have meetings that start at 9 a.m. and I don't know. No, is it Game Daily Connects down in Anaheim this year? I haven't been to it since it's been in Anaheim, but
at the Disneyland Hotel. Woo!
I know I need to go. I just, haven't. One of my favorite things to do when Casual Connect was up in Seattle, and they would do it at the Symphony Hall. I forget the name of the place, but you went in and it was a big meeting space where there were booths set up in the main lobby of this concert hall, and you could go up on the stairs that basically overlooked everything. And so that's where I would go in the mornings, have my coffee, checking my phone, waiting for meetings. One, because you're visible, and if somebody needs to find you, they can find you. And two, you can look out if you need to find somebody and find them real quick. But the first morning of the show, that area, around 9:30 was pretty solid packed with people. I mean, it wasn't like you couldn't move, but it was a busy little place. And then the next day it was a little less busy. The last day, it was like a ghost town. You could have played paintball in there, before 11 o'clock because everyone had been to the big fish party and all the other parties going on, and no one wanted to get there early in the morning because they probably physically couldn't. But, you have 3 days. Make the most of it, especially if you're a smaller company. It doesn't do you any good to spend all this money to go to a conference just to go out and, drink a bunch of free beer all night long and then not actually accomplish anything at the conference while you're there.
Yeah. It's okay to go to bed early. It's okay to go to bed early. It's okay
to stay out late.
It is.
When I got started in the industry, there was a show in London called ECTS. I would have 2 breakfast meetings, one back to back, then go to the show all day, usually meetings every 30 minutes, every 45 meetings from whenever it opened to whenever it closed, a couple of meetings over drinks afterwards, a dinner meeting, and then I'd go to the events. Now, I was also like 22 and I could easily do that, but, and now I'm 42 and I can't, but as long you can pull the long hours, just hydrate and don't make stupid decisions, basically, because
I like to be in bed by 10 at the latest.
There I am now. It's like I can text, hey dude, are you going to the Epic party? And it's like
no, that shit starts at 6. That's too late.
I'm in here with the blue hairs at that dinner. We're I'm not gonna really make it. It's fine if you have the constitution to stay out late and survive on 4 hours of sleep. Do it. You just can't do it and drink all night.
I can't do that anymore.
You're not gonna remember things. You might do something stupid, and you're gonna be in shit condition the next day. I've always had that mentality of you don't have that much face-to-face time with people across the world in this industry. You're in a show for 3 days, make the most of it.
Right. Sure.
But I also acknowledge that, the work ethic that I was brought up on in this industry is not typical. We have clients and I'm like, okay, you got 3 days. How many meetings did you have last year? What's going to make a successful meeting, a successful show for you? And they'll be like, if we have between 8 and 12, good meetings, then we're fine. And I'm like, okay, good. I've got like 30, because I'm used to booking meetings back to back to back to back to back. It's not for everyone, but at the same time, you need to take good advantage of the show, while you're there. And so that means picking up business cards, whenever you can, if you see one that's remotely around, what you need to be doing, grab that business card, find out who that person is that you need to talk to. Look for show directories. And I always, the crown jewel of these things is the one that the German government puts out for all the companies in Germany. And it's like an inch thick. And it literally lists developers, publishers, service companies, anyone who is remotely tied to the game industry with bios, information, email addresses, and, all of that sort of stuff. It's, that sort of information is key. And you can go online and get it these days, but it's a lot easier if you have that version that you can reference while you're at the show. What am I missing here, Andy?
One thing. One thing. Also, be open. I go to so many conferences, right? And you see the same person. They got their nose in their phone. They're in the corner. They're be approachable is the word, smile at people, look at somebody and smile. And hey, because a lot of people are doing that. They're walking around and they will just come up and talk to you. But if you are completely closed off, people will not do that. And you never know who you could meet, just like what we talked about, or like when you're sitting there eating. I've met some of the greatest people just sitting there at a table for an hour. You know, I didn't have any meetings. I wasn't doing anything. I was resting, and people would just come out. Hey, can I sit here? Yeah, sit here, and then just strike up a conversation, because most people are there to meet other people, right? There are some people that don't want to, but for the most part, people are open, and you will be amazed at who you meet. I met the director of Nintendo's media, or the director of marketing for Nintendo in the US one time. Just, you know, hi, how's it going? What are you doing? Oh, I'm playing my Nintendo. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Have you played it? No. Can I try it? Sure. And so she let me play her Nintendo. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm the director of marketing and for Nintendo. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
You meet, if you're open like that, you can meet some of the, you know, people that you never ever expect to.
Booking meetings back to back. Here's what Nectar Wombat says: booking meetings back to back is the only way to do things. Meet new people, always be looking up, stay high, and thanks as people go by, even if you're fully booked.
And if you're not on our Discord server, that's advice coming from, I'm not going to like publicly out him on here, but a very well experienced guest of our show at one point in time.
Are you just saying that he's old? Is that?
Yeah, I'm just saying that he's old, basically.
You can out me.
It's Adam Crichton, who was one of the, you know, you can out me. You know, he was at Panic Button for years. He just started his own, you know, new studio called Enduring Games. You know, Adam was like me. This is what we do. We do the biz dev side of it. And so just by saying hi and exchanging a business card, you never know who you're going to run into. I mean, and it may be somebody, you know, completely out of your realm of what you need to meet, but it may be like the perfect person that you need to talk to anyway.
Or it might be someone that you just totally click with, you know, to become your new best friend. You know what? I really love this Restream chat because I can see Mixer, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Discord. The Discord chat's even working on it. That's awesome. I'm just waiting to see a Periscope. I looked at the Periscope thing, and not one person said anything last time, but
well, it's probably because nobody follows us on LinkedIn. I mean, on Twitter.
we got to get. I wonder if we can stream it right to LinkedIn too.
They don't. LinkedIn has there's an application you have to put in.
The proprietary.
So I actually submitted to be, you know, to be able to be like one of the beta streamers or whatever. So they do have something coming.
We have the technology. Yes. It's probably an RTMP stream as well. You probably can just
you can't even but you can't even get access to it until they accept you into the program.
Those sons of LinkedIners. All right, let's see where are we at next in the maximize your time, know your limits, be agile, have a plan of action if someone cancels or doesn't show up to a meeting, so you're not just sitting there.
Yeah, that's where that map comes in. Yeah. It's like if you have a meeting in one area and it's like obvious that person's not going to show up, you know, if you have enough, you know, situational awareness to know where you are, it's easy to shoot over to another meeting, to another booth. And if you don't have a meeting, it never hurts to say, hey, I'm Jay. We do consulting for, you know, biz dev, marketing, and licensing, and I'd like to just, you know, introduce myself, have a quick chat with, you know, whoever it is at that company that you might want to meet. You know,
you can do that. You can walk right up to a booth and do that to people too.
Yeah, they may turn around and go, "Oh yeah, well they're free right now, so hold on, let me go grab them real quick." And if not, they'll go, "Yeah, they're completely booked, but here's their card."
Right.
You know, it never hurts to ask. And I know we are in an industry where not everyone is extroverted. You know, not everyone is comfortable going and doing that, but do what you can, do what you're comfortable with. I mean, don't, you know, get outside your comfort zone too much. I mean,
yeah, but you got to push it a little bit. You got to just, it always, like for me, I'm super extroverted. But for me, when I get to a conference, I kind of have to like walk around for a little bit and scope things out. And then pretty soon I'm just like, hey, I'm so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking to freaking everybody. I always know the places where ad hoc meetings happen. This is another one from Nestor Wombat. Always know the place or places where ad hoc meetings happen at each event.
Yes.
Be super mindful of confidentiality and people overhearing things. Oh, yeah. You don't want to be talking about some top secret shit and then...
and this is how bad it is. All right, and I guess it kind of almost makes sense now with what's come out in the last couple of weeks. I was going to GDC a couple of years ago. I'm sitting next to one of the directors of the ESA on this flight, and he's got his laptop out and he's writing like, I don't know if it was like legally confidential or not, but it's that you wouldn't want people, in the
You were reading his laptop?
I wasn't reading it, but it was like right there. You can't. Maybe you've never seen me on a flight, but I am like usually totally engrossed in a movie or a game. But when the stewardess comes by and says, "Hey, do you want a drink?" and I turn around and look, and there's like confidential shit all over his like laptop screen. I'm like, dude, use some common sense. And
did you tell him?
No, I didn't tell him.
You just read it, didn't you?
Look, it's my job to know more than like everybody else at a certain level. So if there was something,
you sneaky bastard,
it wasn't. It was interesting at the time. It's completely irrelevant now. But it was like, don't do that. You just don't do that. And like Adam said, it does you no good to send somebody an NDA and go, here, sign this NDA, and then talk about whatever you're doing that's super secret in the middle of the W at GDC, or the JW, like he says, because everybody and their damn brother's going to hear you. It's not a confidential situation place to meet. But yeah, there's always and they're not really secret places. The best places are the second tier places, because we all know when you go to E3, everybody's going to be in the JW lobby. And the JW hotel is actually generally, if you can find that hotel around a conference center, that's generally where most of the people are. I don't know why, but that's the reality of it. It's like that at GDC too. And then you got the W across the street. Those are good places to hang out and people watch and see, if you see somebody or, be seen or that sort of stuff. But the very best places are the places that, we know about that we don't tell you about, where you have a really good chance of running into people, but you're not in that mass of everybody where everybody's trying to get in there and see. And that's like the W. I absolutely do not do meetings at the W at GDC, because it's pack to pack, body to body. You can't have a good meeting in there because half the time you can't hear each other. Bathrooms are off limits. Please don't ambush me with questions while I'm doing my thing. That's another one. As Dr. Disrespect learned at E3 this year. Don't do meetings in bathrooms, and don't take cameras into bathrooms. You would think that's common sense, but apparently it's not. So
wait outside the door, wait for people to come out and like drying their hands. Hey, aren't you so-and-so?
Because that person is usually like had to pee in between two meetings, and they're like running rampant anyway. In general, for a multitude of reasons, don't hang out around the bathroom. I mean, there's your pro tip today. It's you have to know like the places to go to that aren't like the obvious places to go to. And bear with me for a second, Andy, because I'm typing a message here and I can't concentrate on multiple things at multiple times. You know that? There we go. So be agile, have your backup plans, look on Twitter, on Facebook, on Reddit. If you can get a list of the parties to go to, that's what you want to find. I don't go to the big ones that everybody wants to go to because everybody's there. You're not going to have a meaningful conversation. It's not a good place to network. You want to find that, kind of out of the way, but not out of the way place where you can do your, you can have a meeting and it's going to be a little bit quiet and you can hear yourself think.
Right.
That's the...
Having a meeting when it's so freaking loud is annoying as hell to me. I hate that.
Yeah, it is. Because you can't talk about anything. I mean, you can't hear the other person. And that's why, I knew I was getting too old for E3, like, back in the day when E3 was...
And you kept going, what? Hey?
It was still relevant, because the... you go up on the main floor of South Hall or West Hall, and it's like you can't even hear yourself think. So it's like, no, that's not going to work. If you go, and that's why it's not at Gamescom, for example. That's why you don't want to do too many meetings down there in the consumer area. It's because it's very, very loud. And if you're an indie dev, a lot of times you don't have that choice because you may not have a pass to get into the business side. And you may be there with somebody like Indie Mega Booth or one of these great groups that brings everybody together, and you don't have a choice. At that point, it's a matter of, knowing how to get the point of your game across and effectively. I mean, and it's not something you can really practice for. It's something that you kind of have to, get there and see how it's going. I saw at that Casual Connect that I was at in Berlin a couple of years ago, they had the Indie Prize table set up in a certain way, but it wasn't good. I mean, they had them all lined up like you were in school. And so by the time all the developers got in there and they started, setting up their systems and everything else like that, if you had a meeting with somebody like in the middle of the row, you had to like scooch past, a bunch of people to get to them and meet with them. And what I thought was just amazing was the second day when I go in there, all the developers had proactively taken the initiative and they had completely redesigned the Indie Prize area. So it was basically a giant square with all the computers facing out, and the developers would get on the inside of that square so they could talk to you while you were playing their game. And it wasn't everybody standing beside everybody and not having any room to function and breathe, basically. Ryan says, I've seen this one quite a lot, but advice for people who want to casually meet after parties without being overly aggressive or awkward. Tips on approaching and dialogue without being overly aggressive. That's kind of like dating. You don't want to be the creepy person that comes up to everybody, but eye contact is always key. If you can, or if you're standing beside them, you can just introduce yourself and say hi. That's the easiest thing to do. I wish I could give you like an idea. Look at their name tag. If you recognize the company, say, oh, you're with whoever it is, and I really like what you did on such and such and such. It's complimenting someone is never a bad way to introduce yourself, especially if you're complimenting, their project and not like their physical assets, and you're being like that guy. It's a
nice pinkies.
Yeah, that's find that common ground if you can and say, hey, look, I really like this game that y'all did, or didn't y'all work on something, and approach it that way. You can come across, I mean, like I said, this isn't an industry where it's full of extroverts, and so sometimes when you come and you're just like, hey, I'm Jay, this is what I do, people are going to be like, oh, whoa, shit, what the hell, dude, space here, it's one of those things that unfortunately it's really learned through experience and social skills, but finding a centralized place to be seen and kind of standing there. So if I'm at a party and I want to find out who's there, one, I don't stand right in front of the bar. Then you're just being an asshole, because you're blocking somebody from getting a drink. And chances are, if I've been in meetings every half hour, I'm not going to get drunk, but I need a drink at the end of the day, but standing a little bit off to the side. And so you can, find a good place to people watch. Even, starting to talk to people would kind of generate other conversations, because think about it. I've been watching a lot of astronomy shows lately. Think about the early universe. There's two rocks, the dust molecules that come together, and the gravity attracts more dust molecules, and slowly we get planets. But if, Indy and I are standing there talking, and this is a good strategy if you know the person really, really well, you don't want to, oh, that was a neighbor. That wasn't anything else. You don't want to, be like face to face and completely like your back's to everybody else, because then you're sitting there and you've got your own little clique, and you're not, opening yourself up to conversation. But if there's two of you sitting there, then there's a chance that somebody who knows one of you may not the other is going to come over. And so you can slowly build and network that way. And when they do, it's not a situation, and I'm going to use Adam here because I see him right there in chat. But if I'm standing here talking to Indy and Adam comes up, you don't want to be like, oh, hey, Indy, this is Adam. Adam is Indy. No, that's not how you do it, because it doesn't really give any benefit. So that happens. You say, Indy, I want you to meet Adam. Adam just, he's been in the industry forever, and he was at, Panic Button, and now he's just started his own studio. And Adam, this is Indy. I've known Indy for years now. He's my co-host on the show, and he's a big partnered streamer on Twitch. He does a lot of indie games. Y'all should talk. Introduce somebody with more than their name, with
throw in some context.
Yeah, because they may find a common context that you don't know. It's always one of the don't get right in the middle of everybody. Get off to the side a little bit so you can see and be seen, and don't sit there with your face in your phone. Be looking around, make eye contact, wave to somebody here and there. That way you don't you're at least acknowledging to the group that you aren't like hold off in your own little space. I see Austin says, have you ever been to DreamHack? And if so, what do you think about it? I've never been.
Me neither, Chris. I've never been there. Where's that? That's in Texas, isn't it? DreamHack? Hey, Cortana. That's it. Where's DreamHack?
I've got this for you on Where is DreamHack?
Featuring all the core content you've come to expect.
In Sweden?
No, it's in Atlanta. I've never been. It looks like it is more along the lines of a PAX, because it looks like it's very consumer based. I don't know. I don't know who goes. Actually, it's not that far from me. I could swing down and actually do that. No, I can't. I'll be in India, or I'll be just coming back from India.
Bring me back some curry.
Yeah, look, India. If I'm bringing food back from India, do you really think I'm going to share it?
Oh man,
I've got 3 shows coming up. I've got, I'm going to be in Peru on a panel in a couple of weeks, like the first week of September. I'm going to be at GIC in Poland doing a lecture on licensing, and then I'm going to be in India talking at India Joy at their game dev show on basic biz dev type stuff. And one of the things I'm most excited about all 3 of those trips is the food. So it's like, yeah, I'm not sharing.
I love Indian food. Oh man, I love that spice. It's like Indian food to me is like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if I want to eat Indian food. It doesn't really sound good. And then once you take one bite, you're like, yes, this is awesome.
Yes, exactly. You mean I get like fresh, like real naan? Yes, I'll be there. That's not a problem. So here's what I would suggest, Chris. It says on their site they have the show floor map is going to be released in 5 days. Take a look at it and see who's going to be there. It's a good way to get an idea for what the crowd is going to be like, and at the same time, so you can also look at who's sponsoring. Now, obviously, High Res is going to be doing a lot of stuff there because they're based, in the Atlanta area. But looking at the sponsors for an event is also a good, barometer of who's going to be there. So, DreamHack is sponsored by Monster Energy, Chipotle, High Res, and Twitch. That tells me it's a very consumer-based show because, Monster Energy and Chipotle both want consumers coming there. Twitch is going to be primarily aimed at, consumers as well. So I'm sure there's going to be business stuff going on, but this looks like it's going to be more geared towards consumers and esports, but it's like everything right now is geared towards esports because it's the hot thing. Ryan says, thoughts on prioritizing conferences. I've known some people that don't attend period, they think it's a waste, and others that attend every one. Are there better conferences to attend over others, more specifically for networking opportunities? Yes, absolutely. Your tier one conferences are, GDC and Gamescom. I don't count E3 as a tier one conference anymore. It's tier two to me. So your tier two ones are going to be the Pocket Gamer Connects conferences, Game Daily Connect, which used to be the Casual Connect. E3 is in there, and there's a handful of, those are the major ones, the major franchises, so to speak, for business. PAX is great for consumers, but it's not that great for business yet. I expect that to change, in the next couple of years. But those tiers in terms for the business side and networking, GDC and Gamescom, absolutely. If you have the budget, Pocket Gamer, Game Daily Connect, E3. I'm trying to think if there's anything in there.
And a lot of those conferences, you can like volunteer to help out for a day, and then you get like Game Daily Connect. That's what's going on in Anaheim. You can volunteer to help out, be a volunteer for a day, and then you get to go to the whole conference for free. And it's like, I don't know what it is, like $900 or something close to that.
So yeah, those are the ones that I would. And then like the third tier, which is kind of a misnomer because it's not really a third tier, but it's the regional ones. It's like if you're in the area, like, with Chris and DreamHack, or if you are down in Texas, there's a lot of good shows in Texas. If you're in Europe, you got a smorgasbord to choose from, because all you got to do is get on a train and go to some of these. And there's a lot of great shows, like regional shows in Europe as well, that you can go to.
Hey, if you're only a couple hours away to something and you're like, hey, should I go? Then just go. It'll be fun. Yeah.
As long as you're, I'm a big fan of not breaking the bank. And that's why, for those of you who don't know, we do our own event. We do the Indie Game Business online networking event, and it's because these shows do get expensive. So we've got our third show coming up the first week of November. And that's what it is. You can go on. We use Meet to Match, so you can find who you want to meet with. You book a meeting, and when it's time to do the meeting, you just click a button and go to a video call. So you get all the benefits of these, bigger networking conferences, but you don't have to pay for travel.
Right.
And you can book it around your own schedule. So you can always go to our site, which is the site for not only this show but for the event as well, and it's simply
indiegame.business.
Exactly, no www required. It's just indiegame.business, and you can find everything. We keep the tickets cheap. They officially start out at we're still in early bird mode, so their full price is only $85. But I'll tell you, if you're savvy or if you happen to know the people that run it, there are discounts available for those who ask, because we do it for developers. The whole point of doing the show was to, give people a chance that don't have the budgets or the time to fly around. And so it would be kind of shitty of me to be like, yeah, you got to pay $500 to get a ticket to it. No, you don't. This is for you all. So,
and you can have like as many meetings a day as you want. I didn't really push it this last one, and I still got like 6 or 7 meetings over 3 days.
Oh, we have people that get 2021 meetings.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a wonderful opportunity. But yeah, go and check it out. And then if you, like I said, if you happen to know someone who runs the conference, email them and ask them for, a discount code, because I'm betting it exists. But these conferences, at the end of the day, it boils down to the fact that you do have 3 or 4 days to be a professional, to be networking, to expand your network, maybe learn something along the way. Don't piss it away. Do some planning up front, but then, where we are now, especially for Gamescom, with it coming up next week, you're going to be hard pressed in some situations to find a meeting, with especially the big company, because they're already booked up. But, I know for a fact that not everyone is. Always be trying to get meetings, even on the show floor. If you've got an hour, walk around, get a good sense of who's there, learn some stuff, pick up some business cards. Don't waste, opportunities when you're at these conferences,
Just
because
don't miss opportunities.
Yeah, and it's just it's a good lesson, a good place to be. Don't waste it. Don't go out and and get drunk. So a couple of other just random tips. Prioritize. No, wait, hold on. I've got my notes, and I just have to find where I am on my notes. Reach out while you're on the ground. Use the hashtags on Twitter, on Instagram to let people know you're there and what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario is nobody DMs you or tweets back at you, but by using the conference hashtags, use that as a way to promote your game, to promote the fact that you've got a service that somebody may want. Those are tweets that are going out.
A lot of people also like I do on mine. I have, it says on my Twitter username, it's like indie, and then I have like a little plane, and then it says like flying to here, and then flying to Game Daily Connect, and then I put out a little motorcycle that says bam to PAX West. So so if you search PAX, not only will the PAX site come up, but all the people that put PAX in their username are going to show up too. So.
The on LinkedIn, there's generally groups that are set aside for these shows that you can go to and you can see. I mean, I learned when we did our giveaway when we gave away that gigantic list of 500 publishers, the LinkedIn groups these days aren't that great for engagement, but they're good for seeing who's there, and it takes you 5 minutes to put a post in there, so it doesn't hurt. But I mean, know your limits, basically. I mean, that's the other side of it. It's like, don't go out and go drinking every single night. Make sure you get the right amount of rest. Make sure you have hand sanitizer, because there's no way you're not going to get at least some sort of germ. I start taking that emergency powder. Oh yeah, like a week before I go to the show.
Me too.
I don't know if it works or not. It could be a complete placebo.
And then I
effect,
have it in the morning too when I wake up.
Yeah. Oh, I'll drink it all day long.
Yeah.
I'll have like 3 packages of that during the day. I haven't gotten sick since I started using it. It may be a completely different.
And carry your hand sanitizer. They have ones that have like little carabiners on it, and then you can just clip it on your belt or clip it on your bag or clip it on your shirt.
You're not going to offend somebody by hand sanitizing, in a meeting.
I don't shake hands. I don't shake hands. I fist bump at conferences. No shaking hands, because I see so many people do that too. They're like sitting there eating a hot dog, and then they shake your hand and they're eating a hot dog. I'm like, come on, you're going to get sick.
So welcome to, and I'm really not going to try to pronounce your name because I'm going to crucify it if I do, but YouTube.
Matt. Welcome, Matt.
And then, Rock Knight. So the show was been on Twitch for 1.5 years, but we couldn't do it simulcast like we wanted to reach a lot of people because we were affiliate status. But I sent Twitch an email, said we don't want affiliate status anymore. They haven't, oh, see, there you are. You're on both of them. See, I didn't catch that. I told them we didn't want affiliate status anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, we have announced it. And so now we simulcast it back on Twitch as well. So yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
and
Twitch, Facebook. Twitch, Facebook, Mixer, Periscope,
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep. And we would be on D Live too, but I can't remember my login. And I hit like the forget password thing, but it doesn't send me. I don't.
You have an Indie Game Business login?
Yes.
Well, we should do that. Like all the other ones too. There's
if there's someone from D Live out there listening, reach out to me because I need to figure out how to get back into into my account. But yeah, I mean, it's know your limits, stay safe, do what you can do, make the most of your time, and be agile, be ready to catch up to anything, because you don't know if you're going to run into somebody you haven't seen, and I've done this has happened to me. Go back to the hotel and I'm like, all right, done. I'm going to, cool down for the night. And then I run into somebody that I hadn't seen in like 2 or 3 years. And they're like, hey, let's go to this party. And I'm like, okay, let's go to this party. And then we'll head out and we'll go. you're only there for a certain time. Make the most of it. Approach it intelligently, but make the most of it while you're there. So, and yeah, right. I do use a password manager, and
you forgot the password to it.
It's like I put in the email address and it says that the email address doesn't exist, but when I put in Indie Game Business, it says that that's already taken. So I know it's me. I just don't know what email address I signed up for, and it's not right in my password manager. And so, yeah. Anyway, someone from DLive, if you're out there, reach out to me because I don't know how to get back into your site.
Help him out?
Yeah.
I wonder what the D stands for in DLive.
Digital. It's all cryptocurrency stuff, so I don't know, maybe it's something like that. All right, so any more questions while we're live? Because we're scooted past our hour, but we're always here to answer questions. If you've got something posted out there, we'll answer it. Yes, I am going to GIC, and I am speaking on licensing for indie devs there, and I'm very excited because I've never been to Poland. And Actually, I got 3 conferences coming up in the next couple of months for places I've never been. So
yeah, where are you going?
Got the Peru. It's called the ALES conference, which I look at and go, ALES. It's a beer conference, but it's not. And it's basically an economic conference for Central and South America. I'm not talking about games in terms of opportunities for studios in those areas. And then Poznan for Poland in. When is that? October? I think that's October. And I'm speaking on licensing and how to get good licenses and licensing tips for indie devs and small companies. And then India Joy in November. And I'm talking about mainly biz dev stuff. So if you're going to be at any of those shows, reach out, let me know. More importantly, if you are from any of those regions, and cool shit that I need to see while I'm there.
And beer.
Yes. I love it. You don't get a chance to go and see, and this is the mistake that I've made for the large majority of my career, that it's ironically, now that I'm married and I have kids and I'm much more conscious about how long I'm gone from home, my wife is like constantly beating into me. You're going to these places, you need to see stuff while you're there. And so, because I went to GDC for probably 10, 15 years.
And never went to the pier.
I don't see things when I go to these shows because I'm always booked up. But now I'm much more cognizant of getting to the show a day before or staying a day or two after to actually see the places I'm going to. So yeah, if there is, I'm looking to you. Make sure I know where to go when I'm there and see the cool shit, because that's what I want to see. Anything history, culture related, I'm totally in there.
All right. So I will be at the Game Daily Connect at the end of this month in Anaheim. And then right after that, PAX West in Seattle. And then at the end of September, I will be at TwitchCon in San Diego.
Where y'all got the mansion lined up.
The TwitchCon mansion. Yeah, we have a place where like 20 people can stay there with us. We are throwing a party one night. I believe it's on the Friday night. It's the same night as the Twitch partner party. So we have we're throwing it with our team through Gaming Gauntlets, and then there'll be some other teams there, and it'll just be fun, just people hanging out. There's a swimming pool.
Are you still looking for sponsors?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we are looking if somebody would like to. Because we have 8 PCs that are going to be there. So if if a game studio wants to show off a game and come to a party, we're looking for something like that. But as far as sponsors, we're not looking for sponsors at the moment. I mean, the option's always open,
If someone wants to throw
somebody wants to sponsor and have a banner and maybe some swag there, I mean, we would be down for that. But yeah, we had some issues with Airbnb, and so we had to cancel the one place that we got. But on the bright, yeah, it was because after we got it all booked, and then it's like a month later, oh, well, you guys can't have parties there. There can only be, and I specifically said we are going to have more than the people that are staying there. But this place, we can have 30 people there, 20 people staying with us, and for the party, we can have like up to 80, I believe. Nice. So we're running not a community. I guess it is kind of a community center, because where we're at is within a gated community, in this huge freaking house, and there's like a community pool, but we're running the rec center or whatever for a night or a day.
Okay.
But we'll still have. I
didn't know the mansion thing fell through, because that was just like, that was a sweet setup.
Yeah, this setup it's not quite as nice, but it holds twice as many people that can stay there. So more people are going to be staying there.
So what are you going to be streaming? Do you have specific games from devs that you're going to be streaming while you're there?
No.
You go. There's your opportunity. Listen, if you are an indie dev and you want to get your game in front of a shitload of people, indie stream team is going to be there. Indy and Bradley.
Yeah, we're going to have eight gaming rigs. Origin PC is supplying gaming rigs. We're getting a bunch of seats from OP Seats. We're going to have 2 monitors per computer from dang it, what is the name of the company?
Indy, it's not good when you forget your sponsors.
Yeah,
you know that, right? It's like we're gonna get you like a NASCAR jacket,
and then Logitech.
So Logitech has all their labels on you.
Yeah, Logitech's supplying us with keyboards, mice, headsets, all the good stuff. What kind of games do I like to play? I like to play all kinds of games. But this is not just going to be for me. So we're gonna have
it's
streaming.
The whole stream team.
Yeah. Plus, it's multiple people plus a bunch of people. Plus, the good part is the internet at the other place was not quite as fast. Here, it's 1 gig up, 1 gig down on the Wi-Fi. So we're gonna have a setup. We're gonna have a VR setup there. We're gonna have some Nintendo Switch games. It's going to be freaking amazing is what it's going to be. Honeys is going to be there making food for us. And
is she going to make some of that nasty stuff that you drank during the 12 Days of Indie?
No.
Oh.
That stuff is terrible. God, I got sick. And speaking of that, the 12 Days of Indie is going to be in November again this year. So,
when is it? What week is it? Is it while I'm gone?
You know what? I don't recall. I would have to look it up. Right now, I mean,
12 Days of Indie anymore.
I know I'm supposed to be thinking about it, but right now it's like because we've got other stuff going on. But we're gonna go about the 12 Days of Indie a little bit different than we did last year. Last year we had like a bunch of sponsors, and we're gonna go back to our roots and have some indie games, and it's gonna be. This year it will be team kind of stuff. Yes, charity event. It's
12 Days of Indie is a charity event for
Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots. 12-day long marathon of like 30-40 different live streamers. And
so if you're an indie dev and you want to have Indy and Bradley and the stream team show your game, get over on the Discord. On our Discord is discord.gg/indiegamebusiness, or you can get on Indy. What's y'all's Discord?
Mine is discord.gg/indie.
I know, but for the team, or is that just team only Discord? Can they reach you on there?
It's easier just to send me a DM. Mine is indie #0001.
So yeah, find us, send us a note. If you reach out to me, I'll put you in touch with Indy. But,
yeah,
I mean, there you go. You got like a whole group of people who are going to be streaming from TwitchCon. It's a great opportunity to get your game out there.
Yeah, and I think I'll be at TwitchCon maybe one day, and all the rest of the time I'll probably be at the house.
See, even better. Indy's figured out how to TwitchCon from the house. Yeah. All right, so other stuff that is upcoming. Our next online business event is going to be November 7th and 8th. Again, you can just go to indiegame.business to, get tickets, find out more, all that kind of good stuff. We are doing a webinar next Thursday. Sorry. If you were one of the lucky people that got our list of 500 publishers, and then you looked at it and you went, oh my God, now what do I do? We are doing a webinar next Thursday on what you do now that you have a list of 500 publishers. If you don't have a publisher list, if you don't have that publisher list, go to www.powellgroupconsulting.com/publisher-list, and it will put in your email. It'll send it to you. The webinar is a little more complicated because it's a Zoom webinar and they have like this completely crazy registration link. But I will tell you this, if you get that list, then you'll be on the mailing list and it will send you an email that says, hey, thanks for doing this. Here's a link to the webinar. And I will put it up here in chat as well. But 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how many questions we have next Thursday. We're going to sit down and I'm going to walk you through everything from how to put those, companies into a CRM for you, how to find the right people to meet with, how to find the right people to talk to, how to research the right publisher for you, how to get contact information and actually locate actionable things with those people to get in touch with them and pitch your game. And we'll talk about pitch decks and what you need to present and all of that kind of good stuff too. But that's coming up next week. Next week being the 20th somethingth. I'm not sure. Next Thursday. I think is that everything?
That's everything.
Did we miss anything? August 22nd is the webinar. August 22nd at 12 noon.
August 22nd.
The webinar is free. Very good question. Yes, it is 100% completely free. All you have to do is register. And then it is, and I will admit, I didn't splurge for like the gigantic Zoom package. So there is limited amount of space in there. So if you want to attend, do it. It's going to be much more. We cover a lot of this stuff when we do the show, but it's going to be much more in depth and focused and personal and screen shared. And this is what you need to do, that sort of stuff, than we typically get to during the show because Indy and I get derailed on all kinds of random shit.
Right. Derailed.
Yep.
Speaking of derailed, I'm hungry.
I am too. All right. That's it for me.
I think
anything else, Indy? So next week we have. We already have guests lined up. It's going to be, who did I say earlier? Because I forgot.
You never told me.
I thought I did.
Mm-mm.
All right, so Alex from Pixel Knots.
Oh yeah, Alex from Pixel Knots. You told me that.
Alex is going to be on the show Wednesday. We're going to be talking about their whole path through the industry because they've been around like 9 years now, which is awesome. They just released their latest game, so we'll be playing that. We'll be talking about that. All kinds of stuff there. And then Friday, our friends from Game Dev Unchained, Brandon and Larry are going to be on the show. They have a very long-running podcast, demystifying all the things behind the scenes on their show. They also have a event coming up in November that it's more along the lines of a virtual conference, where ours is virtual business meetings. Theirs is, a series of lectures. I may be giving a lecture in there. I hope so. I'm not real sure. And then next Wednesday, we are open. I'm still working on getting somebody, but then on Friday, we're going to have Marcus Howard on, who is one of the gurus of blockchain technology, and we're going to be talking about blockchain in games and opportunities.
One of the Howard twins.
Yes, exactly. And so we got good stuff going on.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I think that's it.
I do have one final plug.
One final thing.
In the newsletter. See, we have a lot of stuff going on, and I keep forgetting.
Yeah, Jay keeps sending out these great newsletters.
Well, we do have a great newsletter. I'm not bragging or anything, but our newsletter is pretty damn good. We get really, really good. I didn't realize how good our newsletter was until I looked up average metrics and then looked at what we get and then what the average on MailChimp gets. But as part of making everything more accessible to the indie devs, we have at the Powell Group a new business model. For the last 9 years, we've been straight retainer and project fees. So it's not cheap, but now for indie devs that are looking for help finding a publisher, or if you are a existing team that just needs more contract work, coming in. We have a new model that's commission based with a one-time fee up front, which is actually recoupable against all the commission. So if you're interested in that, yeah, reach out to me as well. We can do that. Yep. If you want to get on the newsletter, just go to our website. Something will pop up that says get on our newsletter.
Indiegame.business.
Yes. All right, dude.
All right. We'll see you guys next time, next week, next Wednesday. We'll be here, and this will be posted live on anchor.fm/indiegamebusiness. So if you are interested and you want to hear the other shows, go to anchor.fm/indiegamebusiness. Thank you guys so much.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.